What's good, y'all? Will here from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing back in once again, coming at y'all with another video. Don't really need to say it at this point. Just did hill sprints. Just got a good workout, man. It's always the best way to free the mind. But what I want to talk about today is the loner's path. Now, I think for everybody, we all should prioritize ourselves at points, regardless of whether or not we're in a relationship, whether or not we have very close family or friends. There must be times where we are willing to be in our own presence, to be alone. And some people obviously have more alone time than others, depending on circumstances. Personally, I, for the last 2 years, basically since COVID struck, has spent 80% of my time alone. And as much as it at times can get kind of overwhelming being in your own mind, it can drive you insane when you are alone for too long. But at the same time, I've been able to uncover layers of my own life, layers of my own passions, my own strengths, weaknesses. I've essentially built a relationship with myself. Now, I'm not saying that's perfect by any means. I'm not saying there's not a long ways for me to go in that regard, but it's allowed me to really find a passion in writing, find a passion in YouTube, and basically discover a lot more about who I am as a person. And I think that's the key to the loner's path, is saying, listen, man, I can be selfless a lot of different times. I can be there for other people, but you got to treat yourself as if you're someone that's responsible or someone that needs help as well, right? It's think about it like the child-parent dynamic, where a parent has a couple has a baby, and they take care of that baby to the point where they are literally completely responsible for it, for him or her. And it's almost like they're entirely responsible for this entirely separate life. They feed the baby, they change its diaper, they put it to sleep. They make all these decisions, they pay for everything for it. And to give it all of this help, to be there for this human being who obviously is not capable of making, his or her own decisions at that young age, wouldn't you think that you deserve the same amount of love, tender support, and care? We have these avatars that are our names, that basically make up you, they make up I, right? And as much as these bodies and lives are kind of us, I suppose, it's temporary. I don't necessarily think that, and obviously I can't prove this, but I don't necessarily think this is just the beginning of it all and the end of it all, right? I think this is a temporary experience, I would suppose. And one day, it will come to an end. We will no longer go by these names. We will no longer resort in these bodies. Maybe it's not how it works, but who knows, right? This is speculation. Nonetheless, you are a whole person, You deserve love, you deserve happiness, you deserve care, support. But you have to build that relationship with yourself. You have to come around to loving your most prominent insecurities. At least that's how I see it. And having a place like this on YouTube for me personally, where I can express some of my deepest, darkest secrets, my concerns, shed light on my individuality, my authenticity, my story. It's another way for me to build a relationship with myself, because it allows me to free the mind, to explore new realms of my mind, of my life, to analyze and uncover. And I've talked about finding a relationship with a woman, how I think that would be cool to have a beautiful woman by my side. But at the same time, it's something I'm trying to let go of. Like, I hate when people say, like, you know, F them hoes and whatnot, right? However, I still believe it vital that we each have times where we're not focusing on that. We're not prioritizing a relationship, you know? Because this relationship with oneself is its own. You got to get to know yourself. Because as wild as it might sound, a lot of people don't know themselves. And I'm not going to say I completely do. I've 100% been guilty of that in the past. Maybe I still am. But I think that's the most important relationship to build. Like, I'm not going to be the guy that says, you know, you can't get into a relationship if you don't love yourself, if you don't fall in love completely but with yourself. But at the same time, it's hard for other people to love you when you don't. You know, when you don't have your own self-love, your own passions, your own, like, when you're not aware emotionally, you know, you're not self-aware, at least to an extent. And this is why personally, like, I'm still growing. I'm still trying to figure things out. Even though I'm never gonna decode everything to life, I still think that there's a lot of steps, there's a lot of evolution to take place in my life, in everyone's life. And I'm not gonna focus on a relationship. I've been on the loner's path. You know, there is power in solitude. There's a lot that I've learned, like for one, separating myself from these thoughts. Understand that it's more so about the perception of thought itself more than it is the thought. You know, because we all have crazy, dark, intrusive thoughts. And when you think that you are the thinker, when you assume you are the thinker, that's when mass destruction can occur, because you think you're insane. But I would say insanity is when you truly, like, act on some certain thoughts. Not necessarily all the time, of course, but it can be like, obviously, you know, causing harm to others. It can be like murder, for example. It can be robbing a bank or something like that. When you act on these thoughts with no remorse, I suppose that is insanity. Or you can even say it's just the dark side of humans, the dark side of nature, you know? Maybe it is an insanity, actually. Maybe I should rephrase that. You know, because there is duality in this life. Sometimes I'll question what is good versus what is bad. Not only that, but why is it good? Why is it bad? You know, like, why is it morally incorrect to kill a human being when we can see a spider in the corner of our room and kill it with little to no remorse? I'm not excusing killing a human being, but why is it that, you know, when we kill an animal or when we kill a bug, it's not a feeling that's like, oh my God, I'm a horrible person, like it is with humans. And I know that might sound crazy, and I'm not saying that, again, I'm not trying to say that we should go out killing humans, our own species, but I think you might, at this point, at least get what I'm trying to say with that. You know, it's almost like, what makes good actions good? What makes bad ones bad? Okay, well, if you say, if you like say, okay, well, it's good because you're helping someone, or it's bad because you're harming someone. Why? You know? It's these questions that just keep going. The rabbit hole of questions, right? The abyss of enigma that is life. Of questioning and receiving nothing more than another question. But I think that's another thing that has just occurred to me on this loner's path. My own side of duality. My own emotions, how to deal with my own emotions, right? Whether it be anger, fear, whether it be happiness, love. I think, honestly, those more uplifting emotions are the ones that I'm struggling to decipher. I don't really know, not to say I don't know what love is at all, but I don't really know how to express it like I do with fear, like I do with anger, like I do with sadness. You know, like I don't know how to express love a lot of the times. I don't know how to truly express gratitude other than just saying I'm grateful. But I guess that's all you need to do, right? So this is the thing, man. Whether you're on the loner's path or, you know, you're trying to build relationships, there's a lot to learn either way. We can learn about intimacy, finances, relationships. You can learn about oneself. You can learn about spirituality, emotions, mentality. Both are necessary. Selflessness and selfishness. You need time to yourself, and I think that's the ultimate message I'm trying to convey. There's time you should feel like, you know, you owe it to yourself to spend alone, focusing on yourself. But harness that power, right? Don't drive yourself insane. Allow yourself to expand your connections. That's ultimately what I'm trying to do. Just keep growing, expanding my brand, expanding my connections, but at the same time, if I have to continue being alone for however long, I'm perfectly fine with that. And I'm perfectly capable of being alone. I understand that. You know, I'm an only child. I've become accustomed to it, right? Like doing things alone, going about life alone, facing emotions, traumas, challenges alone. And this is not to sound like that's the more ideal path. That's just how I've gone about it in my life, you know? And to each their own. Feel power in your authenticity, you know, in your individuality. I inspire anyone to start a YouTube channel of their own, to start making music. I say this a lot, you know, to write a book, to do all these things. Like I genuinely, oh geez, a fly just hit my eyelid. But I inspire anyone to create, because you can really impact the world. I promise you that. Nonetheless, just keep going. And much love. I'm probably going to cut this video off before it gets too dark, but if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to leave a like, a comment, and subscribe. And Will from PSYCHONAUT Visions, signing out.